All right, let's talk about something that I know might sound a little dry, but trust me, it is the absolute bedrock of any solid cybersecurity program. We're talking about asset inventory. It's so often the last thing companies think about, but as you're about to see, it really should be the very first.
I mean, it really all boils down to this one simple but really powerful question. Think about it. If a new server gets spun up in the cloud, or maybe a developer brings in a new software library, how can you possibly secure it if you're not even aware it exists? The simple answer is, well, you can't.
Here's an easy way to think about it. You could have the strongest, most expensive lock on your front door, but if you've completely forgotten about an unlocked window in the back of the house, your entire security system is, well, it's useless. That forgotten window, that's your unknown digital asset.
Okay, so let's really break down this core issue. In this first part, we're going to explore exactly why you just can't protect what you don't even know you own.
You know, this really highlights a huge gap between what companies do and what they should do. So many organizations only scramble to create an asset list when an auditor is literally knocking at the door. But for a truly cyber-resilient organization, it's not some afterthought. It's the foundation that everything else is built on.
And here's the real kicker. This isn't just a good idea or a recommendation. For any company dealing with major compliance frameworks, like SOC 2 for service organizations, ISO 27001 for information security, HIPAA for healthcare, or PCI for credit card data, an asset inventory is completely non-negotiable. It's an absolute requirement.
So, if it's that important, what exactly is this ultimate digital checklist? Let's dive in and get a really clear definition of what we actually mean by asset inventory.
At its heart, an asset inventory is really just this, a super comprehensive list. It tracks every single piece of hardware, from laptops to servers, complete with their serial numbers. It details all the software running on those machines, right down to the specific version number. And, crucially, it assigns an owner to each asset. That's how you create accountability. And the power this gives you is just immense. When a new vulnerability, what's called a CVE, is announced, you can instantly search your inventory to see if you're affected. If a laptop goes missing, you know exactly who to talk to. And if some strange, unknown device suddenly pops up on your network, your inventory will immediately tell you, hey, that doesn't belong here.
But here's the thing. An inventory is a living, breathing document. It has to keep up with the constant flux of technology. So in our next section, we'll look at the rules of change and explore how change management is absolutely essential to keeping that inventory useful.
So this is the crucial point. A stale, out-of-date inventory is almost as bad as having no inventory at all. Every new hire, every software update, every server that gets shut down, it all needs to be tracked through a formal process. If not, that perfectly accurate list you built on day one, it quickly becomes useless.
To really make this concrete, let me tell you a quick, real-world story from a network engineer at IBM. It perfectly illustrates the difference between a chaotic, messy approach to change and a professional, controlled one.
Okay, so this is the wrong way. It's just pure chaos. You put in a ticket, you show up during the maintenance window, which is often in the middle of the night, and you just start improvising. You're figuring it out live on a production system. That's stressful, it's inefficient, and it is incredibly risky.
Now, let's compare that with the right way. This second engineer planned ahead. They tested the update in a safe lab environment days before it was time to go live. So when the change window arrived, every file was in place, every command was scripted. It was a smooth, professional, and successful operation. See the difference? That's the power of a good process.
And this disciplined approach isn't just a matter of personal style or a good idea. It's actually codified in industry standards. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, provides a formal framework that turns that right way into a repeatable, security-focused process that anyone can follow.
And it all breaks down into 4 pretty logical phases. First, you plan your policies. Second, you identify and implement secure baseline configurations for everything. Third, you control all the changes against that baseline you just set. And finally, you continuously monitor to make sure everything stays in compliance. It just makes sense.
So, how do you actually put all of this into practice? In this section, let's look at the tools and processes you can use as your organization grows and matures, from a basic spreadsheet all the way to advanced enterprise platforms.
Look, for a small business just starting out, the basic level is totally fine. You can literally start with a spreadsheet. The key is just to manually track your assets and follow some foundational security controls, like the ones from the Center for Internet Security's Implementation Group 1. Starting simple is infinitely better than not starting at all.
But as you grow, that manual tracking becomes a nightmare, right? So at the medium level, you'll adopt dedicated tools like Microsoft Intune that can automate the process of discovering assets in their software. This lets you mature your security posture to align with the more robust IG2 baseline, which is for organizations with more complex IT environments.
And then you have the advanced enterprise level. Here, you're using powerful IT platforms like ServiceNow or Jira. Change is managed by a formal change control board, or a CCB, that reviews and approves any high-risk changes. This aligns with the most stringent security controls in the IG3 baseline, designed for organizations facing really sophisticated threats.
So after all this detail, what's the big picture? Let's wrap this up by talking about what it really means to have a complete map of your entire digital territory.
The key takeaway, the one thing I really want you to remember, is this. A complete, accurate, and living asset inventory isn't just some task to be checked off a list. It is the absolute first step. It's the foundation upon which all other security measures, patching, monitoring, incident response, are built. Without it, you're just guessing.
I'll leave you with this one final thought. Your company's finance department can probably tell you the serial number of every single desk and chair the company owns. But can your IT department tell you about every piece of software, every library, and every cloud instance it owns? In today's world, which one do you think is actually more important to track?